Hey, it's Melissa from Special Ed Law Mom coming to you today with another new video. So, I was asked recently what happens if the IEP team can't agree on what the child should have? What happens? Well, I wanted to give you a brief tutorial on that. So, one thing to consider is that the IEP is the school system's offer of FAPE. It's their offer of what they believe a free and appropriate public education for your student looks like. You have the opportunity under IDEA to go into a meeting and to provide meaningful participation, or at least they're supposed to allow such, and to give your input and be an equal member of that IEP team. But what happens when you don't agree? What happens when you make a request and they won't grant it? Well, there's a couple things that happen. So, first, with that request, if they won't grant it, then they are required to give you something called prior written notice, which essentially tells you in writing, it outlines what the request was, the reasons that they turned it down, the fact that they turned it down, the things they considered that they weighed when they made their decision, and more. And I've got several videos on prior written notice that I will try to link down below. I can tell you it can be a powerful tool because schools sometimes just off the cuff say no, and they don't always want to put in writing because maybe they don't have something to support that no, other than we just don't want to do it. And they have to consider things and give you the opportunity to have that be fully considered. Um, but let's say they're willing to give you that prior written notice. By the way, you're 99% of the time going to have to ask for it, even though they're obligated to provide it. They don't always do that because why would they want to? So make sure you ask for that. But what happens if you don't agree and they're willing to give you that prior written notice and they just say, no, this is the offer that we're giving you? Well, unfortunately, IDEA is not set up to automatically go in your favor. In fact, that's when the procedural safeguards go into effect and your rights as a parent go into effect. And so when you disagree about an IEP, as long as they've given you written notice prior to making a change, whether you agree with it or not, then they have met their clerical obligation under IDEA, and it then falls on you to fight that decision. And you can fight that decision in a number of ways. One of which is you can ask for mediation or a facilitated IEP meeting. I have a video on that. You can file a state complaint. I have a video on that. And you can file for due process. And with due process, what happens is if you file before the change is made, then whatever was in place at the time that you filed has to remain in place until you go through an administrative hearing, which usually involves attorneys, a judge, or an attorney acting as a judge, and lots of money. And I have a video on due process hearings. I've had my own and I've helped with them. Um, so, yes, you have rights. But no, you can't just stop what they want to do because at the end of the day, this is what they're offering as far as free and appropriate public education. And so it's really important that you know what your procedural rights are, that you know how to exercise them. One thing that you could do is if they had an evaluation that you didn't agree with, you could request an independent evaluation at their expense. I have a video on that I'll link down below. But that's not going to change the fact that they will move forward with whatever it is that they want to do. And so you've got to know your procedural rights. And you can find those clearly in special education law. I'll put a link for that book down below. I call that my Bible. It's taught me a lot of what I know about special ed law, and it's really easy to reference and whatnot. Probably one of the best investments that I made to help my kids. But like I said, it falls on you to fight them. It doesn't fall on them to fight you because they're offering what they're offering and you either accept it or you pursue one of those other things, which can change what they end up offering. But the onus is on you to pursue it. You don't have rights. They can do essentially, they can do whatever they want, and there's nothing that can be done about it unless you invoke your rights to force change or force another review or whatnot. So I hope that's helpful for you. I'm sorry that it's set up that way. It's they've got a lot of the power, even though we're supposed to be equal partners. But you need to understand that your rights are only your rights if you're willing to use them. And if you're the type that doesn't want the conflict or gets nervous or doesn't understand what your rights are and you need an advocate, I would be happy to help you. I offer a free brief consultation. If I feel like I can help you, then I go from there and we work out a payment arrangement and whatnot. But if you if you're not comfortable doing it yourself or you just want somebody else to help, I'm happy to help. So you can reach me at specialeducationlawmom@gmail.com. Leave a comment down below, and I hope to hear from you soon. Until next time, make it a great day. Bye.